So it was only in the early 90s that they started to do some excavation here, do exploring here. First of all, the Smithsonian Institute came in here when they were also partners in developing the museum that's under reconstruction. They also collected a lot of artifacts that they're taking back to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. But things they just left untouched here. This is almost like a taboo place. People who didn't like coming here, had nothing to do with the community here. People just know it's an edifice that the white man built and they used. At one time it was used for a police station. One time it was used for the headquarters of governing. So it has so many uses, but nobody liked to come into these dungeons. So even when I first came in here in '87, you can still see the chains and stuff around the edges here, and the walls here. That was still here. So what you find is that up here in this chamber, everything got to be so unrest. They didn't trust any of the so-called enslaved Africans who became servants upstairs to the soldiers. They were given the charge to bring in water, bring in food. But if it got too dangerous, they would simply just throw water and food down from this area. And you can imagine people fighting over those small remains that were here. There's no way that we can imagine the kind of suffering that was done down here, the mental suffering. Psychologically, spiritually, physical kind of disease that set in, the sicknesses that set in. So when you are blessed, as I said earlier, or I'm blessed to make this return journey, what it says is that we are the products of those who chose to live and not die. Because many died under these circumstances. Many died before they came into these dungeons. But if you came in here and you survived, and you went across those waters, and you ended on a plantation, and you ended up with a family of sirens, someone which we are the product of, it means you're the product of those who chose to live and not die. Because they could have chosen to die honorably by suicide, by confronting their captors, being shot, being hung, or anything. But the fact that you're here means you survived. And the fact that you survived means you are the product of a survivor and somebody who chose to live and not die and survive through the years, and you've been able to make it back. So here we're not, although we feel emotions, although we feel sad, although we shed tears, we're celebrating resilience. Who else could have gone through such an experience and have survived? So it's their resilience that we celebrate. It's their fortitude that we celebrate. It's their vision that no matter how dark it is now, light can come in the morning. There can be a better day. It's that kind of confidence. It's that kind of faith that we're in here on. So we're going to take a moment and we touch the wall with the right hand to just remember any of the males that we can think of in our life, even some that we didn't meet but we heard stories of, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, our uncles, some of the people in our community that we want to remember on this experience. We remember them now in this moment with our right hand on the wall. When we get to the female dungeon, we do the same with the women, but here we're talking about the men. So we can move on to the next chamber. At the door, so again, now you're mindful of the floor when you're walking on. And again, another set of gates and iron bars are here to separate the populations. Again, the only ventilation the only light. Here we have another semblance of light. Here's another interesting chamber. Because of the acoustics here, when we're talking, there's a space up there you can sit and you can hear whatever the conversation is down here. And there was always a bilingual African here who understood the dialects of the region. He could always interpret what may have been spoken or mumbled down here. Because we're from different areas, he had to be multilingual, so he can understand multiple dialects of the region. And his job was to report anything that's being spoken or being planned. He can hear us, but we can never see him. So you never would have